You're listening to Our Daily Show with CJ Nasello on RiverBender.com.
Side by side. I said, hey, Carmen, come on, let's go downtown. She said, I gotta go with my friend.
Welcome back. 10:15. Lacy is back in the studio after a month.
Yeah.
How are you recovering?
I'm recovering pretty well. So I had hip surgery 6 weeks ago, and I thought
Was it 6 weeks?
It'll be 6 weeks tomorrow.
Wow, time flies. This has been a kind of a busy May.
Yeah, it has been busy. So now I'm off crutches and getting around. It was a repair, so now I'll be perfect again.
Well, you had a pretty serious. It was because whenever you said you're getting your hip worked on, I'm like, oh well, she'll be cutting the grass in 2 days just because of the normal, I guess, the routine thing. You had a serious situation going.
It was a lot more. The surgery itself, it was arthroscopic. Like they barely had to cut me open. But the recovery was a lot more intense than I realized it would be. So I was on crutches for 4 weeks. I'm not driving yet. And
how's that going for you?
People take me where I need to go.
Do you like it?
No,
Okay.
I would like to be. I don't love driving, but I would like to be able to drive.
See, you know what's funny? I could not have a driver's license again forever, and I'd be so happy. I love being driven around. I get to act like I'm in the back of the limo when I'm really in the side of a old Ford Ranger, but it don't matter. I just still feel important.
Tell people how to drive.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, I'm so good at that. I am
the
best at telling people how to do things. That's why I host a talk show. So, Lacy, I'm glad you're back in here. And now we brought Andrea.
Yes.
I've had a sinus infection for 2 weeks, and I'm starting to breathe
solidarity.
again. Yeah, we're thank you.
It's
we're
a tough time of year.
It is so tough. And we're talking digitization for a long time.
Yes.
On this show, and you brought the expert.
I did. So Andrea and I have known each other since we were teenagers. So this is really exciting that we just happened to end up in careers where we could work together on some things.
That's cool.
Yeah. So CJ and I have talked about how we've tried to, especially with our out of copyright books and our photographs, digitize and make things as available as possible. And Andrea is one of the people that I have consulted with when I've been working on that.
Well, Andrea, I got to ask you a lot of questions then. How'd you get into this?
Nobody knows.
Did it just find you one day, or like?
A little bit of both, yeah. So, I always, grew up going to museums. My mom's a librarian, right? So cultural institutions, that sort of thing was very much like adjacent or part of my life. And then I actually went to art school, so then went to school in a museum, right? Graduated, tried to figure out what I wanted to do, and then went to law school. And just kind of like brought the two areas of interest together. Like people are always like, oh, how'd you switch from art to law? And I'm like, there was no switching. This is, I don't know, a natural trajectory. Yeah. So then everything I'm kind of looking at now is, it's about like cultural heritage, art, how we make it available, how we digitize it. So there's a lot of questions around intellectual property.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of ethical questions, right? Like, should we be making this stuff available, especially age of AI? Everybody wants to talk about that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is really fascinating. Number one, I'm intimidated. You have basically the whole kit and caboodle here. And here I am just hosting a talk show, Lacy. You should have warned me. I would have wore a suit today,
I see your bios don't.
That's right. You did. But, the whole thing on AI is very fascinating, right? We were just talking about it yesterday on the show because there's a new term called Italian brain rot. That's like the new meme thing they're giving this.
What is that?
So I will show you. Thank you. In my Italian heritage, I was like kind of getting proud. I'm like, oh, we got something going, Italian brain rot.
Rotten people's brains.
I thought we were just kind of, watching The Sopranos too much was the whole point of it. But hold on. I'm glad I can educate you. I normally can't do this, so thank you for letting me have some time here.
School me.
Is it okay, Lacy?
Yeah.
Okay. I know we got to do something.
No,
here.
I was
okay.
The
people need to know.
They do.
So I could learn.
Thank you. So here is the Italian. I got to open it up in a new tab.
Okay.
All right. Let's see if it'll pull up for me. See that little picture? That little shark there?
Okay, he's got shoes on.
Yeah,
that's the first thing I noticed.
This is all it is this very obvious AI generated things. Like they made a cappuccino woman. It was pretty fun. Like she was just had a head of, and it was a cappuccino cup, and then she was the body.
Oh, okay.
So they're doing that with AI. But we were talking about, because that's fun and that's cute for kids. But what's scary is I was on YouTube Shorts, and it has nothing to do with my political affiliation. But the president was at the Oval Office, and they had him saying some wild stuff, and I had to go back and look just to make sure. You never know. it was all completely AI generated.
Yeah.
It was the scariest thing because,
Yep.
I mean, we were talking about martial law in the Oval. I mean, all of this crazy stuff. And it's like, where does it stop? And I'm sure with digitization, you could really get into a nasty place with, having AI almost not distorting it, but creating its own interpretation of a piece.
Well, yeah, it's true. But then if you think about the purpose of making things available, it's so that source, the reliable source, is now available for people to check that information against, right? So it's a way to improve information literacy, but also kind of like reliability on information that is out there.
Is that what you're utilizing it for?
There's a lot of things, right? I mean, when you think about also the histories of cultural institutions, a lot of them have things in their collection they should not, right?
Right.
Yeah.
That were taken through colonization, forced occupation, armed conflict. And so there's a lot of questions about, like, when we think about global audiences versus local audiences, who the audience really should be with respect to some of these materials that institutions are currently caring for, right?
Now, can you explain that a little bit more? Because to me, I would think that, all pieces would be meant for a global audience, but I'm kind of new to this. What kind of separates that discrepancy?
Well, it's more about the cultural preferences.
Gotcha. Okay.
In relationship to whatever the item is, right?
Wow.
So, I mean, there's also, like, for a long, long time, people were digitizing things to use internally, right? What do we have in our collection? Where is that? Do I need an image so that someone can use it in a book because they're writing about this specific thing? And then the cheaper the digitization became, and also online platforms, for uploading things. So, like, people don't even need their own online collection anymore.
Right.
They can upload images on Wikimedia Commons, so long as, like, those images are out of copyright, right? But then what that means is people who were very excited about open access were like, oh, let's put everything online, without actually thinking, like, well, we've got an image of someone's ancestor in our collection that we've now uploaded in bulk, right? So what do we do with ancestral remains, right? Should that image even exist?
Yeah.
Especially when you're thinking about, like, now anyone can use it for any purpose whatsoever. It's going into these big AI data sets. So these ways of thinking about, like, how we care for the collections, but also the images of the collections and who should have a say in those things, are actually a way of, like, inserting better care into whatever that looks like internally for the institution, because we're aware of what it looks like when we do upload it.
That is so fascinating. And when you're starting a project, and you're, maybe it's we'll just say it's a bigger project that you got to work on, like with Hainer is digitizing all of the 8 billion photographs that you saved from the Telegraph building. But what is the first step when you really start this process? Is it really the organization side of things, or you just roll your hands up and say, we got to get to it?
Yeah. It's being okay to get messy and make mistakes.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. And usually, like, identifying, like, one set of images that may be, like, really cool that we're going to have some sort of, like, purpose or desire, around people wanting to engage with them. So, like, something that we did, so I live in the UK. I'm sure you can pick up from my accent.
What part of the UK are you?
We met in Arkansas.
Yeah. We met in Arkansas. My mom moved to Missouri, and then Lacy's family moved to Iowa, and now they're just around the corner, respectively, right? A couple hours, so it's great because every time I come home, I get to see her. But yeah, I live in the UK, and one of the museums, the smaller museums that I've been working with there, is called the Royal Albert Memorial Museum. It's in Exeter. And one of the things that we did was we found a whole bunch of, like, drawings, watercolors, prints, things that the people who made them died more than 70 years ago. So those artworks were no longer protected by copyright.
Gotcha.
And that's, like, the first thing you have to ask, like, is there a right with respect to this asset or this image or this artwork or whatever it is that I need to be thinking differently about digitizing? Do I need permission, right? And so because they're out of copyright, it's fine. And the images themselves, like, we just picked 63 artworks of buildings in and around the Exeter area that no longer existed. Like, whether it was just old buildings, deterioration, World War II, there's a heavy bombing there.
Yeah.
And we digitized those and we made them available on Wikimedia Commons, which is 63. And, like, within a year, they were, I think, getting more than 1 million views per month.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Well, and it's so fascinating to me because without a lot of these efforts, I mean, a lot of small town America's history would be completely gone.
Right.
And I was telling Lacy, it seemed like 10 years ago, because I was really big for a couple of weeks to like do the Find the Grave thing and go back. And there just wasn't a lot out there, 10, 15 years ago. And now, like you look now, it's just incredible the work that's being done. And you're really seeing your city's history coming back to life and your region's history coming back to life too.
Yeah.
No, when you're going through and you're deciding, is it beneficial for the public or is it beneficial for digitization? What are, outside of the copyright, I know there's some cultural things and there's different scenarios, but what are some of the more common things that you're kind of running into when you're deciding yes or no? And is there a fine line to decide on?
Ooh, well, here's where I'm going to get on my hill.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Please do.
All right, meet me there. So the big question that especially everybody wants to know, because we all know cultural institutions are underfunded.
Yes.
Happening now. A lot of funding is being cut for some of these like really exciting programs that are exactly what, you just described. How do we get people interested in local history, genealogy, the stuff that like you want to see or you want to access is quite often not something that was digitized because people have thought, oh, if I make a digital copy of this, I can claim a copyright in that digital copy, and then I can charge for people to use it or access. And so that is like a tension that people are coming around to and we also have law that says there is no new copyright in a digital
That's a good
reproduction. But, the question is like, are people on board with that? And a lot of people, because they either don't have like the legal expertise or the ability to like kind of go, you know what, maybe we shouldn't be claiming copyright in this, because someone internally is like, but we can make money.
Gotcha.
But no one's actually making money, right? Because there's so many free images out there to use now.
Right.
So it really is kind of like this shift of, well, we're not going to claim copyright in these things. We're going to put them online for anyone to use for whatever purpose. And then those really cool uses that you never would have expected come through.
That's what I was going to ask you, because it seems like when you get rid of that, I guess that barrier, you really can see folks utilizing these and really bringing into life these projects that you probably never even thought were possible before too. This is so cool. Now, when you're going in and have you ever had an instance where maybe you're in a collection somewhere and you have these photos, but all of a sudden you're doing some research and you're like, I don't know who dropped these off here, but this is not fitting them. Does that happen?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Does it really?
Maybe Lacy has something juicy to share.
Oh. Well, I was...
Fill me in on the deets.
As Andrea was going through, I was thinking about our telegraph collection. Yeah. So we don't have the copyright on that, but we have an agreement with Hearst and with the Telegraph that we are able to provide those images on the Illinois Digital Archive for anyone to see. And if you want to use them for like educational purposes, for personal use, like print it out, put it on your wall, that's totally fine. The only time you have to get permission is if you want it to be published.
Gotcha.
So we have kind of gone through 15, 20 years ago, Charlotte Stetson and Don Huber went through the more than $100,000 photo or 100,000 image photo collection.
That's insane.
Yeah, and took out about 5,000 that they digitized. It was old buildings, it was downtown shots, it was churches, schools, that kind of thing that they thought would have a high interest.
Gotcha.
So it started with those.
Yeah.
And
it goes back to but it goes back to what you're saying about the greater mass too.
Right.
Finding
yes.
that's
yes.
so fascinating.
Right.
Okay.
So they did that, and then when we came in and started actually digitizing all the rest of the collection, we got the negatives from the Telegraph. I've kind of had to go through and say like, okay, what is going to be used widely, and also what is not going to have any sort of ethical or moral, what I'm not going to have with ethical and moral qualms about, because we want to make as much as we can available. But we have the Telegraph articles about things like crime and fires and accidents. So we do have images of horrific
I'm sure. I'm very sure. Yeah.
We also have things like, you think, oh, the Halloween parade, that's going to be super fun. Images of that. Blackface.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so sometimes you don't even think about it until you're going through the collection. So that's the getting
Can I
messy
ask
part.
this question?
Yeah.
Like when it comes to blackface and things like that, and I understand you don't want to put things out there. But do you think that you're almost taking away from who we? I mean, you don't want to hide that point either and say, well, we were all perfect.
So what we've done is we have a disclaimer on the front page of our, like, here's where you're going into the images that says, you know, this is a product of its time. There may be things in here that be not appropriate in today's context. But we're also working with the Illinois Digital Archives to have a, like, grayed out, because you can see all the pictures when you go into browse, grayed out images where you can read the description, you know, okay, I'm going to be looking at a picture of this. Yeah. And then you can click on it, because I personally, have gone through things as I'm going through the sort of raw images to label them to make sure we've got everything digitized correctly, where I see something and it's a shock and maybe you weren't emotionally prepared for that. Yeah. And so giving people access, but also making it their decision to see that image.
Exactly. You aren't forcing it down. Right. That's really, do you guys have a moment to stick around? Yeah. I got to pay a bill. It's 10:31. So I found, just because I'm really having fun with Italian bread. Look at this guy.
No.
Look at this guy.
Okay, well, let's just talk about one thing. Why can't humans do that? Why do we need AI to do that? I can do that with a Photoshop.
Exactly. Right? It's really not that difficult.
Like, what is going on? And this is also, I'm like, I love the weirdness of it. But humans are just as weird, if not weirder. So
I've seen a couple of people that look like that.
You know,
frog with a tire.
Throughout all life stages, you need someone in your corner, guiding you on your health and wellness journey. At OSF Healthcare, that's your primary care provider. Your OSF primary care provider is there for every stage of life. Find a provider today at osfhealthcare.org/primary.
Cardin Circus is coming to town. It's fun for the whole family. Don't miss out. Get ready for breathtaking aerial stunts and a heart-pounding thrill ride that will have you on the edge of your seat. 2 nights only. See the magic
Village Dispensary has the best deals in Godfrey, Illinois, with specials 5 days a week. Mondays, roll in the week with 20 to 30% off select pre-rolls. Tasty Tuesdays, enjoy 20 to 30% off select edibles. Waxy Wednesdays, enjoy 20 to 30% off select concentrate and vape brands. Thirsty Thursdays, sip and save with 20 to 30% off all drinks. Flower Friday, grab like 3.5 gram flower deals starting at just $20. Village Dispensary, come meet your best buds.
When you need a project done right, on budget and on time, trust Gillahan Concrete. Gillahan handles every kind of project, big and small. Commercial, industrial, residential, from room additions and garages to patios, driveways, and more. Gillahan brings quality and experience to every job. Family owned with over 30 years of service to our community. Call today at 618-781-3914 or visit GillahanConcrete.com.
Macias Insurance Agency, providing quality products with extremely competitive prices. As an independent provider, we source multiple companies to offer the best rates possible, covering auto, home, business, and life insurance. Our goal is to provide quality service that meets and exceeds customer expectations. You can rest easy knowing the Macias team is working round the clock to ensure that both you and the most important parts of your life are covered. Our qualified professionals make the insurance process easy so you can live carefree and focus on what matters most. Visit MaciasInsuranceAgency.com today to find out what our team can do for you.
With over 20 years of experience, Wilson's Tree Service has the expertise to handle all of your tree care needs. Licensed and fully insured, their team of experts are dedicated to providing reliable service. Plus, with a 24-hour emergency service line, Wilson's will always be there for you. Don't risk tackling that timber by yourself. Trust the local professionals at Wilson's Tree Service. Visit treeservicealtonil.org to get started today.
Looking for the best barbecue in Madison County? Head over to Carver's Barbecue in Godfrey, Illinois. From loaded barbecue nachos to mouth-watering pulled pork, brisket, ribs, and more, Carver's serves up award-winning flavors you'll love. Family-owned, Carver's is all about fresh, made in-house dishes served daily. Come visit us at 2716 Groveland in Godfrey, or give us a call at 618-467-9999. Order online, get it catered, or stop by for the best smoked meats around. Where great flavors meet family tradition, you'll find Carver's Barbecue.
You won't find a better health club than Nautilus Fitness Center. More cardio, more free weights and equipment, more classes, a swimming pool, and more. If you're serious about your health and want to make a change, then stop thinking about it and visit Nautilus Fitness Center on Industrial Drive in Alton. Don't fall for the hype you get from the other health clubs. Nautilus is the Riverbend's premier health club. Has been for years and will be for years to come. Get to Nautilus Fitness Center and get started on a healthier new you.
No matter the season, Play It Again Sports in Edwardsville has the gear the athletes need to get in the game. Whether you're shopping for the newest sports equipment or saving money on quality used gear, Play It Again Sports carries what you need to maximize performance to get the most out of every swing, kick, stroke, or shot. We'll even buy your used goods, paying cash on the spot. We carry all the gear for all the sports all year long. We're your hometown sporting goods store. Play It Again Sports, conveniently located at 4 Club Center Court in Edwardsville.
I set the thermostat so my house would be warm when I got home from work, but the kitchen is still cool.
At Barrett Heating and Cooling, we stand behind every Linux system we sell.
My dealer said he'd take care of everything.
At Barrett Heating and Cooling, we understand everyone wants prompt, professional service.
Turns out it wasn't my furnace after all, just a little something blocking the vent.
Pretty smart dog if you ask me. For service you can count on, call Barrett Heating and Cooling.
Lennox, innovation never felt so good.
Picture This and More has been a trusted name in the Alton community for more than 30 years, with the last 3 being right here on Broadway. We specialize in quality framing at affordable prices. We also feature works by local artists because we're proud of our community. If you have valued treasures to display and preserve, we're sure to have the perfect fit with our large selection of custom framing and display options. Whatever color, shape, or size, Picture This and More has the look you need. Stop by today and let us help you with your next project.
You're listening to Our Daily Show with CJ Nasello on RiverBender.com. Welcome back. A little bit of a longer break, but that's okay. We needed to pay bills. Back with Lacy and Andrea. Whew, held that one in. That's something they don't teach in broadcast school.
What?
How do you hold a cough and a burp?
Oh.
Not flattering.
What do we call that? A curp?
Okay. Well, yes. I think that sounds good.
Sure.
You know, back to the digitization side of things. So if we all go through great-grandma's scrapbook or our grandma's scrapbook, is there a way that we can actually preserve or digitize our own stuff without maybe ruining the original, the original photo?
Well, I think there's a couple things there. One is, yes, you can scan it. You can create a digital copy. Part of it's going to be, that's my family memory. You know, I want other people in my family to have access to this. Obviously, you can email those things around. But then, what if your grandma was at the JFK assassination on the Hill, and all those pictures, you find them somewhere, and you're like, the people need to know, right?
Right.
You might want to take it to, Lacy's looking at me like, there she is.
Yep. But you're right, though.
Right? So then it's like, okay, if there's, first of all, you got to ask that copyright question, but half the time you don't know who took those photos. Maybe it's your grandma. In which case, who's going to come at you, right? So you might just decide to upload them somewhere. But then there's that question of preservation. Yeah. And so maybe you want the actual photos to go somewhere, you keep the digital copies, or you want to hold on to those regular photos and give the digital copies, wherever else. I don't know. There's a lot of moving pieces there, but yeah, go for it.
This is what I find fascinating, because I'm sure there's so many people that reach out and say, hey, I found these photos from, X and X, and here's what they're about. Is it one of those things where you encourage people, if they have something of interest, like just here locally in Alton, if there was, the last day of the Pepsi plant, or, like the steel mill back in the day or something like that, where is that kind of where you would tie those in and say that's something that we would use? What's the best way to gauge that interest if you guys actually need them or the public wants them for the folks at home?
Well, people can always come in and say, I have these family photographs and I'm trying to figure out what to do with them. If they'd be of interest to the library, collection, or if somebody wants to digitize it themselves, how they go about doing that. We demonstrate that. At some point, we're going to try to have like a digitization lab at the library.
Oh, that would be cool.
Yeah, come in. It's something that Mary and I have been talking about. We're both excited about it. I keep having surgeries I have to go out for, but that is one of my goals in the next year or so, is to figure out what that would look like. St. Louis County Library has a really great one. I think the St. Louis Public Library does too, and Belleville has a digitization lab. So figuring out how, if we want that to be something we bring out for people, if we want that to be a permanent spot, but we want people to be able to come in and do that themselves so that they know that they're doing it the right way instead of just whatever they can figure out. But we also have classes like Beth's branching out classes. Digitization is one of the topics, and we're happy to help people with that. And yeah, it's like one thing Andrea sort of touched on, like if there's a physical copy and a digital copy, what do you do with those things? Yeah. And we always say in our collection, and we suggest for other people as well, you don't make a digital copy and then get rid of the physical copy.
Right, no.
So you would make a digital copy and then you can use that. It's a good way to preserve the physical copy. Then you're not touching it all the time. Then you can make it available. Then you can, donate a digital copy to the library and keep the physical if you want to, but never just like scan it and then get rid of the original.
So I have two more questions because we got MRF getting ready to come into the studio. That's gonna be fun. Mississippi River Festival is really cool. Ooh. Is there a way, I guess this is my question, because when you digitize something, you have the digital file, then, obviously opens up the potential, if you're good at it, to maybe enhance it. Do you guys ever do that if it's like faded out and you got discoloration? Is there a way to do that accurately without compromising the original photo?
Yeah, I mean, so I think what you would do is you would keep the original image. Okay. And then you would have the image that's also been modified, because it goes back to that question of information, accuracy and reliability. And you would want to kind of clarify on the modified image what had happened. Sometimes that becomes part of the metadata of the image, so it like gets embedded in the actual file if you're doing it through Photoshop or that sort of thing. But it's also important to make that something that's a human can read. So to describe we bumped up the contrast, or I put a frog's head on this person, going back to your Italian, right? Right. So there's different ways of going about that. But one thing, if I can just, insert my beliefs, which are very important, is resources are limited. Financial resources, human resources, labor. There's so much that's not digitized, and also like environmental resources. So we don't want to be digitizing every single thing that we find, but there are really important things that for both preservation and access reasons, we do want to digitize and create a copy of. One of the reasons we don't have as much as that done is because we have limited resources, especially when funding continues to get cut. So vote for people and call your state and federal representatives who are going to fund the cultural sector. There you go.
Okay. There you go. All right, before I let you go, we got about a minute left. What's the most over the top, or I guess all-intensive digitization effort that both of you have been a part of?
Well, for me, it's definitely the Telegraph, because we have, like I said, over 100,000 photographs that we have now digitized. 6,000 of them are now on the Illinois Digital Archives, but every single photograph requires research. It requires typing, first of all, you have to digitize it. Then you have to put the label on it so that there's a digital label that matches the physical label. Then you have to do research on the image, and then you have to type all that research into the box to upload it. So even when we're doing things in bulk, each image takes a lot of time. And like Andrea said, that's a resource. That's the time of the person that's working on it. So that's why we have to try to make sure that we are focused on things that are in priority, like important in priority. So that's my biggest thing. And I'll let Andrea, she probably has more interesting.
I forgot the question. Oh, what's the biggest thing that I've worked on?
Yeah.
So I have a project that's called the GLAME Lab, and GLAM stands for Galleries, Libraries, Archives, Museums. And so we're just constantly working with people.
Wow.
We've worked with the library here. Mm-hmm. We've worked with the Rijksmuseum in Amsterdam, the Royal Albert Moore Museum in Exeter, a small community organization in Bristol called Black Southwest Network, and they're working to digitize and make a platform for community archives called the Unmuseum. So there's always cool stuff going on, and you never know kind of what that next project is going to be. So it's a never-ending process.
It's really cool.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for stopping by, and best of luck in your trip, and have fun and all that good stuff
Thanks.
too. Lacy, good to see you again.
I'll see you next week.
So before I take the break, I didn't really completely finish my Italian brain rot term. The reason is they create these like songs with these characters and they become memes. Okay, and there's one called the Barbardino Crocodilo Funk. Okay, and
Barbardino Crocodilo Funk.
that's right. And
Rolls right off the tongue.
it does, doesn't it? And you know what? We'll do that now. This is it. This is it. This is the
Barbardino Crocodilo.